being a startup, we're so used to constantly pivoting and really having that shiny object syndrome. Projects were getting dropped just because we move on to the next thing, and yeah, we were just kind of bouncing around without a clear focus.
The corporations and the companies I've been involved with before, Design Pickle, didn't really teach me how to stay organized with big teams.
We kept trying different management systems, 4DX, all these other kind of systems that had really good elements, but there was nothing that any of us could totally get behind.
Figuring out everybody's responsibilities, figuring out accountability, figuring out who owns what. There was so many different times that there were different goals across departments, and it was like, it's your responsibility, no, it's my responsibility, let's tag team it, and that doesn't really work.
Yeah, so our growth was pretty crazy, pretty fast early on, and we went from doing, each person wearing a million hats and doing a million different things, to all of a sudden having this team of specialists and this badass team, but we didn't really know how to manage them. So it got to the point where it was, I felt like we weren't doing justice to our team members.
Some of the biggest challenges that we were facing were twofold. One, in relation to our global team. We have currently over 400 team members around the world, and adopting some kind of system or some kind of format for everyone to operate and communicate in a cohesive way was just becoming too much to bear. My leadership team is actually really excited about it. And what that means to me is that it allows me to stay in my unique space.
I think it's a lot easier to make decisions with intent. The North Star of the company, what the company wants to accomplish in the next 10, 3, 1 year is very, very clear.
Also, another thing about EOS that I've loved is it's radically simple. It is not something that you're sitting back and learning and you're understanding these concepts for the first times. It's like common sense, basic things. And that has allowed us to roll that out from the top to the bottom of our organization, which is fantastic, because we don't need to invest a ton of time. We do need to invest time, but we don't need to invest a ton of time explaining the things. It's just, here's what it is, here's how you do it, now let's practice.
So recently I made a transition from marketing to sales. And so EOS actually helped me make that transition easier. It was taking and relieving all the responsibilities and all the accountability and figuring out, okay, who's gonna do that now? And then moving to the sales team, okay, now this is our focus. This is what we need to do. This is how we're gonna do it.
Biggest thing that sticks out is that I finally have clarity in my role, and knowing that I have clarity, I'm able to pass that down to my other teammates who I'm relying upon to get stuff done. There's way less anxiety, and I feel comfortable thinking 3 months, a year, 3 years in advance.
It's simple. The process is really simple to understand, and it's really simple to roll out.
Because you have to have the buy-in from everyone else. It's not just one person who's making the ultimate decision. There's more collaboration because of that, and so those decisions are being made by the group of people who are driving it all together. And again, that keeps everyone all on the same page moving forward.
I have read practically every management book there is. I love the study of it. And I'd actually come across EOS years ago, a long time ago, when the book Traction probably came out. My firm belief is the reason this worked is because we didn't try to do it ourselves. That was the game-changing difference with entrepreneurial or operating system, was that we actually put an investment into the implementation. We were held accountable for that. We had coaching resources. We weren't just trying to wing it. And that's the biggest difference that we've had. Every other time before, it was usually myself, the founder, trying to convince people to do it, but then after the initial meetings, there was no other structure for that.
We never would have gotten this far without an implementer. At its core, it's really simple, but if you were just handed everything, it would have felt really overwhelming. I think the first day it felt overwhelming, but having someone to facilitate that was instrumental in getting us up to speed with everything.
Having a facilitator, having somebody there that can walk you through it and get the team all on the same page, even just going through the exercise and leading and guiding, it's just so valuable for the team. It's a bonding experience. It gets everybody aligned. It gets everybody on the same page.
Having the implementer in the room was critical, because the conversations that we had, we don't go off too far into the rabbit's hole or on tangents.
Well, the reason I chose Colin was simple. It was because he has applicable real world business experience before he decided to go into the EOS space. And to me, that was game changing in terms of who I wanted to trust, help guide myself, help guide my team. That I've been in the trenches. I understand. I've built big teams. I've worked in small teams. I understand software. I understand technology. I understand systems and sales and marketing, not because I studied it, but because I've done it for quite some time. That is experience that you feel in the sessions.
Not only did he explain everything clearly, and so we were able to comprehend all of the concepts, but someone who was really to make sure we stayed on track, and someone who wasn't afraid to tell our visionary that, hey, even though you are at the top spot, you still have to follow these rules, and you can't go off on a tangent too. So that was huge, and that helped everyone on the team. Also,
gut checking or shoulder checking myself as a CEO, that's important. And I find that he is not afraid to speak his mind. And often in times when you're hiring consultants, you're hiring outside people to come into organization, there's a little bit of concern you're not going to hear the truth. Trust me, that's not the case. How I now describe Colin as this perfect combination of Mr. T, Mr. Miyagi, and Mr. Rogers. I'm gonna get in your face and be really aggressive, but I'm also gonna teach you, and I'm gonna let you learn. I'm not gonna do it all for you. And then I'm just a friendly guy, like gonna give you a hug and make you feel super warm and fuzzy.